Hi there, welcome to Kneppy Invest and welcome to the first day of summer. It is Monday, the 1st of December 2025. Time is currently 2:51 p.m. So about an hour and 20 minutes left of trading today on a day I think the ASX would rather completely forget about. And if you do have a look at announcements every single morning, you would know exactly what I am talking about. So I'll just tell you, if you don't know, I'll just show you exactly what happened. So announcement, this is through CommSec platform, and I go through all the announcements, and this is filtering only those price sensitive ones that do come out. And then at 8:59, they stop coming through. So last price sensitive announcement release was from Mont Royal Resources at 8:59. I thought there was something wrong with CommSec, so then I went to Market Index. They do have an announcement page here, and it was the same thing there. And then I went to the ASX announcement page, which, to be honest with you, I don't like this page at all. There's no filters. You just get all the announcements all dumped at one time. Here they are. Here they are, all the announcements. And yeah, and then on this particular page, the last announcement was from Mont, whatever it was, at 8:59. And then the next announcement at 12:12 p.m. They do have a system status, the ASX. And at 9:39, they did release they're investigating an issue impacting the publication of company announcements. The market will open, but those companies who actually did release a price-sensitive announcements, those companies will put into a trading halt. So there are about quite a few companies that are still not trading because even though they have released a price-sensitive announcement, no one's been able to see it because ASX has had a bit of a hissy fit today. So they're investigating an issue impacting the publication of company announcements, 9:54, and then at 10:12, the ASX has opened a schedule. Securities holded as a result of a price-sensitive announcement remain holded until the issue is resolved. Current time is almost 3 p.m. Issue has not been resolved. Let's see if they've got any more information here. So they've solved the issue, or part of the issue, that they can now release announcements, but not any announcements released during the outage period. I'm pretty sure they're going to talk about that somewhere. Here we go. ASX trade remains fully operational. All company announcements post 11/22 have been published. They're working with listed companies to publish impact announcements submitted before 11/22. So that looks like that's the way around this. Is they're telling all the companies to give them the price sensitive announcement so they can issue, which is probably why we've seen a dump of trading halts all released at the same time. So between 233, 243, we have had about 10 trading halts, and other companies has issued announced a raising control by Onyx. Anyway, so there are a few companies not traded, including email payments. This is one company I know, it's not trading yet. You can see on their announcement page, nothing. So obviously they released something, a price sensitive announcement between 8:59 and 11:22. Although more than likely it was before 11:22 because they have not been trading at all today, I'd assume. Yeah. So quite a few companies have not traded today. So I wouldn't say we're running blind, but we don't have complete information of all the announcements, price sensitive announcements that have been released thus far today. I thought it would have been resolved by now, but no, it has not. But in saying all that, I do have a top 5 stocks of the day. And one of those companies was one of the last companies to release their announcements this morning, their price sensitive announcement. And that was Metcash. At 8:52, they did release their half year results. And they didn't go back to trading until about 2:20 p.m. So they were a bit of limbo for quite a while, even though they did release their announcement, because there is still a 10-minute, I'm actually not sure, because this is well before trading began. So obviously some of the companies that released their announcements, they weren't trading. I wonder if MRZ was trading on open. Let's just test this. I was assuming that Metcash wasn't trading at normal time because they released the announcement 10 minutes prior, or within 10 minutes before the market had a hissy fit. Let's have a look at Mount Royal. Now, this company's been trading since 10 a.m. Not sure why Metcash wasn't trading, unless because they did release a presentation at 2:06 p.m. So there is a possibility that they did release that after 8:59 a.m. it's becoming clear, and maybe this is one of the first announcements that was re-released. That does make sense, that Metcash did have a price-sensitive announcement they released after 8:59. Okay. Anyway, so interesting. Well, I wasn't saying interesting day in the market, but ASX. I haven't seen this happen before. Maybe it's happened once or twice, but I have not seen this happen in the last 10 to 12 years, unless I completely forgotten something. It happens quite often on ComSec that announcements just don't pop up. Usually in the morning, early morning, you go to the ComSec page and no announcements are coming up, and then I have to go to Market Index. That happens a lot, and I do think the ComSec site is quite finicky, a lot of bugs in it, because that happens a lot. So this is the first time. I'm not going to say negative about ASX, unless this starts happening time and time again. Okay, so let's have a look at the ASX today. So I won't go through the agenda, and we have seen a little bit of a downturn in our market today. So we were up on open, and one of the reasons why we have seen a little bit of selling today is because the American futures are down. So American futures start trading just after or around the time we start trading. And if we go to NASDAQ futures, down 0.87%. And if you have a look at the 1 minute chart for NASDAQ futures, yeah, so they start trading at 9 a.m. This is Brisbane time, by the way, not Sydney time. So this is, for those who don't know, maybe living in the cave, Brisbane or Queensland doesn't have daylight saving. So they are 1 hour behind, say, New South Wales and Victoria. So 9 a.m. Brisbane is 10 a.m. So the American futures start when we start trading. And American futures have been going down all through the day. And if you have a look at the XJO 1 minute data, that's been going down all through the day. So our market has been highly correlated to the NASDAQ and Dow Jones futures today. That's why we have seen a little bit of downside. And I thought maybe we'd had a good day, but that was on the assumption, not the assumption, but that was on the presumption, if that's the right way to use that word, that the NASDAQ or the American futures wouldn't be down. And maybe we've hit, maybe we've pulled lower from that resistance level at 8,620 or whatever. Anyway, so a negative day on our market today, and we've seen all the indices slip through the day. In fact, tech has had a bad day, which makes sense because NASDAQ futures are down a fair bit. Different sectors, energy, materials, utilities have had a relatively speaking good day. If we had got a silver indice, that would be going absolutely bananas today. We'll have a look at that later in the video, but this should have been common knowledge because silver had a really good day on Friday, up 6 or 7%. So silver companies have had a brilliant day and a nice breakout in silver. Bad day for healthcare. Don't know why. Staples. Don't know why. So a few defensive companies have had a bad day. In fact, I'd say a lot of healthcare companies are defensive. Staples defensive. Telecommunications defensive. So why is healthcare having a bad day? Let's just have a look at this. Down 1.69%. Trying to think who's in my top 5. Nothing. By market cap, that's just been broad sell-off. ResMed, they're all down by over 1%. So just a broad sell-off in healthcare. And ASX 20 down 0.05%. So maybe saved by some of the mining companies because ASX 200 results up 0.48%. Financials, where's financials here? Well, banks down 0.46. So it's going to be interesting. So maybe some of the mining companies have done really well. Maybe iron ore. I have no idea. Let's have a look at the ASX 20. I'm going to say 6 companies up, 14 down. No, totally wrong today. And a pretty good day for Woodside, BHP, Goodman Group, Northern Star. Yeah, we do have resources, but companies here, but also Riskicat, Goodman Group, Transurban, and Wesfarmers. And a negative day for CSL, Sigma, Healthcare, ANZ, and Telstra. Interesting day on the market. No rhyme or reason why some of these companies are up or down. I can understand some of the mining companies, but some of the other companies, no idea. Aristocrat up. Oh, gee, who knows? Okay. Let's go to the top gainers. We're going to see a lot of silver companies, particularly when we have a look at top gainers by market cap. DGR Global. I did have a look at this one. This company's had a few good days in a row, and it seems like they have an investment in another company, and that company is doing really well. I shouldn't have done that. I'm going to go back. I got rid of announcements that I shouldn't have got rid of there. And the reason I'm bringing it up is because it's 232 pages long. There you go. Anyway, so this company, DGR, I was wondering, why is share price up a fair bit? And then no announcements today. And the last few days, share price has gone up a fair bit. And starting on the 27th. And if you have a look at the announcements on the 27th, they just mentioned DGR Sol Gold Holding re-rated. So this particular rise in share price for DGR is just based off the investment they've made in a company called Sol Gold, which is listed on the London, is it? LON, whatever that is. And the share price up 236% in the past year. So let's have a look. SOLG. So that's not in a day, that's over a year. And it seems like maybe the market forgot about that. And yeah, nice actually looking chart. So obviously, maybe the reason they put that announcement out there is because share price of Sol Gold has been rallying really nicely since July, and maybe DGR share price has not been. So there's been a bit of a disconnect, and the management just went, hey, what's happening? Why? Well, no, really, there is a connect. There is actually a bit of a correlation there. Sol Gold's going up, DGR's going up, but it seems like this announcement just excited the market for a little bit. Nice volume today, but why today? Is it just because Sol Good had a good day or good end of the week? Maybe that's all it is. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's been a really nice few days for Sol Good. This is actually a nice looking chart. Anyway, so that's DGR, the best performing company on the ASX by percentage change. And by the way, DGR is up 290% over the year. If you go to the announcement, Sol Gold is up 236% over the last year. Just saying. Well, I'm not saying anything. Cyclopharm. Yeah, and we can see a few silver companies. Sun Silver up 17.16%. Unico Silver 15.25%. I'm just going to have a quick look. I don't remember seeing anything from Cyclopharm, but and this company can be liquidly traded. This could be just a little bit of noise. Yeah, I think it's just a little bit of noise. Share price up quite a bit the last few days. And in fact, you can see this company is quite illiquidly traded just by the chart. Well, no, I'm wrong. This is a completely different company. Completely different company. I was thinking of something else. What was I thinking of? You know, I was thinking of CTE, Cryo. There you go. Getting my Cryosite and Cyclopharm completely mixed up. Yeah, this is a liquidly traded chart. Cyclopharm is not. It happens. You mix companies up. I do it all the time. I mixed in one of my videos the last few days. I mixed up two companies, Alltech Batteries and Alpha HPA or something. I mixed those two companies up. Anyway, don't know why the share price is starting to go up, but it's looking pretty good for Cyclopharm just based off the last few days. I would like to see a bit of volume, and I would prefer to see why. There's been no price announcement in the last month. So something has got the market excited. Nothing else there. But if we look at the best performing companies by market cap, Zimplats, that's the thingy. What's it called? Palladium. Greatland Resources actually is in my top 5 stocks of the day, by the way. So we'll talk about that. And quite a few silver companies. Silver Mines, Andean Silver, Unico Silver, Polymetals Resources. I'm pretty sure they went into a trading hold. Sun Silver. The problem with all of these share prices today, they rose on open. So there's not like you could have bought on open and see the share price rally. The market knew that the silver prices went up on a Friday. And if we go to Sun Silver, just have a look. Let's have a look at Sun Silver. Our share price probably open near where the share price is now. Well, not quite. So open at 128 up to 139. So you could have made a little bit of money, but that's a little bit shocking, to be honest with you. I'm a little bit surprised that USL, maybe that's because silver prices have kept on rising today. So Unico Silver open at 67, yeah, share price 68. Yeah, so a lot of these companies' share price did open up a fair bit on open this morning. Nothing really I want to talk about here. Lake Resources, another pretty good day, looks like. So let's turn our attention to the top losers. I will talk about AUB Group. That's really important because AUB Group had a takeover bid, and there is a reason why the share price is down 17.6%. And we'll talk about that later in the video. It is my stock of the day, by the way. New listing on the ASX called Epiminder. We'll have a look at that briefly because there's nothing else much to talk about. And that's about it. Top losers by market cap. Metcash is in my top 5. Yeah, they released results. Market didn't like it. I didn't like it. And quite a few of those companies, those REITs and the HMC Capital, which is a infrastructure in, I don't know what they call it. Those companies had a nice little run towards the end of last week and then down today. And Australian Ethical Investment down another 7.27%. So a bad few days for that particular fundy. Where is it? Yeah, oh, 2 bad days the last 3. The chart looks horrendous. Satire down, no shock there. And that's about it. Before we move on to the top 5 stocks, I just want to talk about one company that I haven't mentioned here. We haven't seen the top 5. We haven't seen the best gainers or top losers. That's Treasury Wine. Share price down only 1%. It was down about 7 or 8%. So I thought this would be in the top 5, but we have seen the share price rally a little bit. Now the share price was down on an America's impairment, which is a non-cash. It's a non-cash thing. Yeah, it's a non-cash. They actually said that. Recognize a non-cash impairment for its US-based assets. So the market initially didn't like that. I don't usually have a problem with these sort of impairments, but the market is really negative around Treasury Wine. We have seen the share price drop a fair bit. It's getting to the point where maybe it's becoming attractively valued, and maybe the little rally in the share price today off the bottoms, maybe that could be a sign the bottom is near, just a sign, possibly. So okay day for Treasury Wine. Had a chance to be in the top 5, but just missed because the market has rallied, or the share price has rallied today. Okay, on to the top 5. Let's start off with this new listing. Epiminder says share price has not moved today. So what's going on there? It says it's one of the top losers. Here it is, top loser, down 13.33%. Share price has dropped from the high. So open at 149 and is currently 134, was as low as 113. So a little bit of volatility today, which is not surprising. Typically with new listings, you do get the highest volume on day number 1 because a lot of people want to sell out of the IPO. And that's one of the reasons why companies do IPO, is to give some of their shareholders a chance to get out. Anyway, so I have no idea what this company is. It's in healthcare equipment and services. And what I've done is I've opened up this prospectus. First time I've looked at this, so offer price of 150 per share. So I opened up 149, so it's very close to where the share price did open up. So you could actually, I definitely can understand why in market index they do have it down a little bit. But in ComSec, I think this platform looks at the previous day's share price, their close, and since they didn't have no close, how can it be down? So I actually do prefer what market index is doing because it did open at 150, I suppose. Now, mate, that's not absolute. I'm not sure if that's an absolute. That can change the offer price, but I doubt it would have changed that much. Not for release to US wire services or distribution in the United States. Well, I'm not in the United States. That's good. Now, I love prospectuses, particularly for new companies, because you get a lot of information. Lots and lots of information. Here's the content. So I really like industry background. That's one of the things I really like. So not only do you get a company overview, you get an industry overview. You also get financial information. You also get a lot of key risks, key people, and a lot of the other stuff I don't really care. I don't really care about intellectual property report. So the main things I look at are industry background, company background, financial information, and sometimes I will have a look at key risks. So let's just go. I don't really care about the investment overview because I'm not investing in it right now. So we go to page 43. Now I might have a seek this sort of thing out, how much money they're raising and what they're going to use the funds for. So for instance, they're raising $125 million. So this looks like it might be a fairly big company, relatively speaking. And sometimes a lot of the money goes to ex-shareholders, but you can actually see exactly what they're doing. So $25 million for demonstration program and study, $32 million for research and development. Cost of the offer $10.9 million. I'm in the wrong game here. Sales and marketing 4, employee costs 9.8. Payment of interest owing on convertible AH note 6 million, and what's this amount reserved for actual liability associated with historical R&D claims $20 million. So it looks like no one's taking money out based off that. Anyway, let's have a look at the overview. I still don't know what this company does. I would prefer if, oh no, I was going to say I would prefer if the company overview came first, but I sort of understand the industry background. So you sort of go from top up and then go into the company's details, specific details. So it looks like they do something with epilepsy. There you go. So straight away, we know this company has something to do with epilepsy. Causes of epilepsy. The reason I like this is you do learn a lot about stuff you probably never really thought about learning. And I do like this with mining companies because they give a really good, like an overview of if there's a graphite company, what's happening with graphite, the prices of graphite, future of graphite, that sort of thing. Anyway, so causes of epilepsy, prevalence and incidence of epilepsy worldwide, typical care pathway, etc., etc. So this is what happens now, and obviously they're trying to disrupt what's happening now with hopefully something better. Drug resistance, epilepsy, blah blah blah. They should have what do you call it? Market. How big is the market for this? Industry background. Well, I've already talked, but that's what I'm talking about now. And looks like maybe some of the other, what do you call it? Competitors or something like that. What happens now with people, wearable non-EEG monitors, epilepsy treatment. So how do you treat epilepsy? Epilepsy. I can't even say it. Here we go, market opportunity. Yep. So this is where a lot of times you'll see a company go a little bit too aggressive with the total addressable market. Unless I'm looking at you, Uber. Still remember that when they first listed, it was like, we have a total addressable market of $250 billion. Well, maybe technically they're right, but come on. And company overview. So this is what I like to see. So introduction to Epiminder, medical device information solutions company. And looks like they have a presence in Sydney, Australia, and US. They have something called Minder iSEM, a sub-scalp device for continuous monitoring of electrographic brain activity and set of information solutions, providing patients and the healthcare professionals with detailed data over an extended period. Here we go. And then problem impact, Minder solution. History, I like the history. So founded in 2018, so it's not an old company. Although this goes back to 2005. Initial work by the founder, looks like. Minder system talks about how this particular technology works. I'm not going to go through that. And yeah, so I do like going through this because you do learn a lot about a company. Now, the problem with this is, well, the question I have is how far back can you go and have a look at the prospectus? 2, 3, 5 years? Is that too far back? Is 3 years too far back? But definitely a company that's just listed on within the last year. I will have a look at the prospectus because there is a fountain of information in these documents. It's a big document. Here we go. And this is important too. Authorization status. So Minder is approved in US. There you go. Not approved in EU. Code established US. Oh, that's reimbursement status. Okay, so it's approved in the USA. So they possibly are already selling something. No implants in humans. NeuroView, they talk about no implants anyway. And they have a fair bit going on here, looks like. Anyway, I'm just going to see if we got any sort of financials here. No. Here we go. Full commercial US launch, initial target market. Based on approximately 45,000 patients a year not achieving actionable information following an EMU, EEG, and target ASP. I'm not sure what all that is. Approximately 25,000. This represents an annual revenue opportunity of 625 million to 1.1 billion. Of course, they're not going to get much of that initially, anyway. Maybe over long term, maybe. Future growth opportunities, pediatric. Outside of USA, partnership with pharmaceutical companies, operational overview, cochlear partnership. Yeah, something else there. Intellectual property, people would be interested in that. Regulatory status, Australia under geographies, reimbursements, etc., etc. Okay, and payment. Okay. And financial information. This is what I'm a little bit more interested. Are they selling something right now? They do have approval in the United States, and it looks based off this, they have a really big, so they're not selling much. They have other income, so I don't think they're selling anything, and loss for the year, $34 million. So this is probably one I'd like just to, you can see operating cash flow negative by $17 million, has been increasing the last few years. So you can definitely see why they came to the market, because they're burning through a lot of cash, and maybe some of their early investors have said, hey, now is the time, because you do have US approval. Maybe now is a time that we can get out, particularly if this price they're at now is a good price. Anyway, I was sort of hoping they were close to profitable, or were profitable, because this company would be a little bit more in my mind. This company would be a little bit more interesting to me. Okay, so how many shares on issue do they have? So it's somewhere here. I just want to know what the market cap of the company is. I wonder if it's in. Yeah, it says nothing. Oh no, it's got 227.74 million. I wonder if that's right. In market index. Okay, so that's Epiminder, a new listing on the ASX. But if maybe one to keep an eye on, maybe just see. But I wouldn't be surprised if the share price is quite volatile, because again, they're not profitable. Coming in number 4, we have Meteoric Resources. If the share price went up a lot today, we could have said it had a meteoric rise, Meteoric Resources, but it didn't. Share price down 13% on preliminary environmental license update. And this one was released at 12:54. So this one was released after the snuffle, whatever you call it. Share started trading at 1:69 p.m. Okay, this could be an overreaction from the market. I'm just saying, because it looks like this is just a delay. It's not. That's what it read to me. It's just a delay. State Foundation of, I think this is in Brazil, State Foundation of Environmental has requested more time to respond to questions raised by the Federal Public Prosecutor's Office in relation to their project. The vote to approve the project's preliminary environment license was postponed. Company is confident that all information required to address the MPF questions have already been prepared and submitted. So the market doesn't like this, because it's a little bit risk. There is a bit of a risk here, maybe an increase in risk, and that's why the share price has dropped. But if this is just a bit of delay, maybe they forgot to tick something. Maybe they forgot to tick a box. If this is just a delay of a formality, and I suppose the other question is this a formality? Anyway, I don't know anything about this company, Meteoric Resources, but the share price is down a fair bit. So let's have a look at the chart. Is this an opportunity? Ooh, so chart actually didn't look all that bad. A nice little breakout back in April. Beautiful breakout. I'm not sure why this hasn't been on my radar. We have the center share price dip back. In fact, the share price has halved since its highs. We have seen a little bit of buying coming in. Share price got as high as, or as low as 11.5 cents. And is now at 13.5 to 14 cents. So we have seen a little bit of buying coming in today, which actually is a good sign that some portions of the market do think this is a bit of an overreaction. So possible buy. We saw the same sort of thing happen on the 25th of August. There was, looks like a negative, something negative, and maybe it wasn't as negative as the market expected, or maybe the market overreacted, and the share price we did see a little bit of buying on that day, and the share price then zoomed higher by a fair bit just after that. Imagine selling on that day, and then share price more than doubled within the next month and a bit. One of my watch lists. I'm going to put this into my watch list just because I like the chart. Even though the share price has dipped a little bit, I do like how there's been a little bit of buying coming in today. That's Meteoric Resources. Coming in number 3, we have Greatland Resources. Share price up 10.73%. I saw the share price of this one up a fair bit, and then I went, And I just assumed it was because of silver or something. And then I went, oh, wait, they did release something today. And they did release a feasibility study. So Havieron project feasibility study. Pretty sure Greatland Resources is a recent listing as well. Now, this is a pretty big document, 112 pages. Presentation is 53 pages. Maybe I'll open this one up. Oh, it opened up really quickly. Go ComSec. Doesn't happen at all. World-class gold copper project. I do like, I like this sort of thing. So financial outcomes have are on a standalone base case, depending on the price of gold. So if gold keeps on rising to like 6,250 ounces, dollars per ounce, free cash flow for this project over what mine life was it? I forget. It was a fair bit. 17 plus years, including 9 years steady state. Third largest underground is UG Reserve in Australia. Doesn't mean underground. Anyway, so it's a fairly big mine life. Here we go, 17 plus years life of mine. So yeah, they do have to spend a little bit of money, not a lot. And according to this, 750 million cash, 500 million debt commitment. So it looks like cash and debt expected to fully fund development. So it looks like all the funding for the development is there. But free cash flow, if gold remains and keeps on going higher, 9.6 billion, net present value 5.4 billion, IRR 31.5%, and payback 3.2 years. So and pairing second largest Australian gold project with third largest gold copper producing capacity in Australia. There you go. I also love little graphs like this, which shows everyone the big projects, like gold projects in Australia right now. I don't know what Hemi is. Is that Northern Star? What? Looks like it's Northern Star. I don't know. Genesis has a couple of big projects. Antipa, don't know what that is. Ramelius, Osgold, Horizon Gold, Rocks Resources. There you go. It's down there. It's a smaller company. And then Astral Resources, another small company. So according to this, they have a really big reserve. And based, if you have a look at the second and the third one, it's double the second one, or the third one, I mean. Anyway, so I do like to have a look at these sort of things. Maybe it's just me. Havieron's benchmarks favorably on scale and cost and reserves. I also like these sort of things. These little bubbles. Where is it? It's here. Sort of where you expect it to be. Maybe. What's this green box here? What does that mean? Will rank among the top performing Australian mines. Anyway, so let's have a little chart for Greatland Resources. So yeah, recent listing. There you go. So 24th of June 2025. There might be value in this. I don't know. Market cap of the company is 5.11 billion. Oh, it's a pretty big company. There you go. If it was like 2 billion, I might have been a little bit more interested, just based off what I did read in that particular presentation. But a pretty good day for Greatland Resources. And you could almost say the share price is breaking out. But the share price was high not that long ago. So there's a little bit of resistance at these levels. Coming in number 2, we have Metcash. Release results, share price down 9%, was down by 10%. Ooh, so we have seen a little bit of buying coming in. I just had a look at the media release, and which they did put out at 8:54 a.m., just before the ASX went down with new announcements. And my first thoughts were, where's the numbers here? So revenue up 0.1%. Well, that's lower than inflation. So they've gone backwards. Group EBITDA increased 2%. That's still lower than inflation. Group EBIT decreased 2.4%. Underlying profit down 5.9%. Reported profit after tax increased 0.3%. Underlying earnings per share probably not much up much at all, probably around 0.3%. Operating cash flow increased 59.9%. That's could be because last half year or the previous corresponding period, they spent something, maybe increasing, which I have no idea. But sometimes with operating cash flow, free cash flow, you can't compare. Well, you can, but I wouldn't just focus on that. Blind yourself, just the operating cash flow has increased a fair bit. There's probably some nuance around that. Anyway, So the first thing I was like, ugh. The CEO said the business has delivered strong results in tough trading conditions. So if it's tough trading conditions, maybe because Metcash share price had gone on a run because their results they released last time was well received by the market, and I thought that was quite good. I'm just wondering if, because these were half year results, I'm just wondering if they did release any sort of guidance recently. Trading update. Let's have a look, trading update, and see how things have gone since the trading update they released on the 10th of September. Maybe things have turned a little bit more nasty for the company. Let's have a look. Trading update. Here we go. They do. So according to this, they've got total food sales up 8.6%. Tobacco sales down 32.1%, which is understandable. Liquor up 1.5%, hardware up 1.8%. They don't have a total. They don't have a total. In this one, they've got, if I can find it again, they don't have a complete. Maybe they've got it in the presentation. Would like to see a bit of a breakdown just to see how these different segments have performed during the half year, and particularly compared to their most recent update. Here we go. Results overview by pillar. And they've got food here down 0.8%. And in the trading update they released in September, food was up 8.6%. Now, up 0.6% including tobacco. So even if they not including tobacco now, it has gone pear-shaped. Liquor up 1.4%. So liquor about doing what they did before. Hardware up 1.8% at the trading update and up 2.5%. So it looks like it's been food that has been the sort of the bad performing pillar for Metcash. Anyway, so that's it. Metcash down. And let's have a look at the chart for this particular company. So there was a nice, when was it? It must have been, so what is it today? It's December. So they would have released results maybe the 10th of June. Let's have a look. 10th of June. Did they release results around the 10th of June? There we go. Well, actually, they didn't release results the 10th of June. They just released further strengthening of hardware pillar earnings update. And then they released results on the 23rd of June, just after they had that update. So it looks like the share price did break out on the 10th of June. Share price moved into an uptrend a little bit before that. So there was a little bit of positive sentiment around this company back in the middle of the year. Back last October, a bit of negative sentiment that sort of didn't last very long. But the share price got as high as about 430, not that long ago, in September. So that's around the update. And then near the update, share price has been tumbling and today has fallen off the cliff. So there were some warning signs before today, even actually on Friday. Share price actually dipped lower, and you could have, if you were trading this, that could have been a get out. But today's definitely get out if you're trading it. Okay, so onto the stock of the day, and that's AUB Group. I did own this company. It was in my super, and I got rid of it. I sold AUB Group because I have a rule. If there is a takeover bid for a company I own, sell. Just sell. And now I don't absolutely follow this rule because there is another company called RPM. It's probably not even listed on there. Yeah, RPM Global. I didn't immediately sell this one because I was just hoping nothing would transpire. What I mean transpire, I mean, I was hoping maybe there was going to be a bidding war, and even if nothing transpired in regards to the takeover, I was hoping that's fine because I think that the market, the valuation of this company is going to be significantly higher in 5 to 10 years. But when it came to AUB Group, and the other thing is I was really confident this takeover bid more than likely would go through. And then eventually when I became absolutely confident which was around about a month ago, I just sold out, took my profits, and that is my rule. If there's a takeover bid, sell, 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 sell. And the reason I have that is because I think the reason a lot of people don't sell is they're hoping there's a bidding war. And I would say, without doing any research on this, the likelihood of a bidding war is less than the likelihood of the takeover bid falling apart. And if that happens, if the takeover bid falls apart, share price will collapse. And we've seen that with AUB Group. Share price has gone down 17.64% because the cessation of discussions with EQT and CVC. And I just sometimes I will think, why are people buying like the days after the takeover bid? Because this happens a lot. This sort of thing happens a lot. I don't see much arbitrage at all, and the risks are so much. To my mind, in my way of thinking, the risks are a little bit higher than any sort of reward you're going to get if there is a little bit of an arbitrage. And this is the reason why. Share price down 17.64%. Now, on occasions, when this does happen, I sell out of a company I do own, particularly if it's for the longer term, I might buy back in when I see the share price down 17.64. I did that once with Energy One. There was a takeover bid, I sold out, and then takeover bid fell through, and I bought back in almost immediately. See if I can find that. That was, yeah, here. Yeah, back in, not sure exactly when the takeover bid, 28th of August 2023, share price up 34%. And then the takeover bid was pulled or whatever a couple of weeks later, months later, and the share price just fell. So I bought back in, sold, and then bought back in a lower price. And I should have just kept on holding because share price has gone up fourfold since then. But I took some profits a little bit too quickly. Will I do this with AUB Group? There's a chance because I did own this for the longer term. So there's a chance I will buy back in at 17.64% lower than when I sold. Anyway, so that is my rules when it comes to takeover bids. Just sell. That's just me. It's just see, because I've seen plenty of times these takeover bids they fall apart some reason. I don't even know why it fell apart. I wasn't actually paying that close attention. Do they mention why it fell apart? Let's have a look. The consortium has advised the company does not intend to proceed with the binding proposal at a price of $45 per share. $45? So the market was really wary that this would go through because the share price before today was much lower than $45, like $36. The AUB board believes that a price of $45 per share appropriately values AUB in the current market environment. Meh. Anyway, so let's have a look at the chart for AUB. There you go. Share price was really volatile as well. So takeover bid, sold out somewhere here. I forget exactly where. And it's not really the chart of it. So I don't think the market was convinced it was going to go through just based off this. If you compare the share price action here for AUB, compare it to RPM Global. And this is a chart of a company being taken over. Look how the share price barely budges, particularly from the 13th of October. That is a sign. This is a chart of a takeover bid. If I saw this without even knowing RPM, there was a takeover bid for RPM, I would know exactly why the chart looks like that. But if I had a look at AUB Group, I would have not even thought about takeover bid because this is not the chart of a takeover bid. So I think the market was not thinking highly of this takeover bid, or maybe not. That's not the right wording. Maybe the market was thinking the success, the likelihood of a takeover bid for AUB Group was not that high because it said $45. The share price got as high as 40. And maybe people were buying because they saw, hey, share price is 40, takeover bid goes through $45. There's a bit of profit there to be made. And unfortunately, those people who were thinking that are now down big. Would I buy this? Let's have a look at the weekly chart. I did buy this because I thought it was cheap. I forget exactly when. And the share price is moving towards a level I could think about buying in, which is about 28.50. So it's not that far from there. It's close to a buy. Okay, that is all I have for today's ASX Daily Rundown. I'm just going to have a quick look to see if there's been an update to announcements. What I could do is just have a look at this. Oh, it looks like quite a few have come out. Yeah, a lot have come out. So since I've been talking, email payment, there's email payments, CFO transition. So some of these should be trading now. Share price down 3.5%. Atomos, options exercise to reduce outstanding debt. That's okay. Metal Bank, Hastings acquisition to proceed. That's nothing much. Mithril Silver and Gold. Bass Oil, Chewers. So actually quite a few companies I do own here. Verbrack, I actually do like this chart. Verbrack, Big River Industries acquisition at time on offer. What else do we have here? Yeah, more than likely none of these companies would have made it into the top 5. But anyway, so it looks like all the announcements are now coming out. If you have any questions, any thoughts, leave those in the comment section of the video. Otherwise, I am not a financial advisor. If you need financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who is qualified and can speak to your own financial needs. That's it for the video. Have a good day. Bye.